Вот такую воду пьем с какого-то водоема. Мутная, горькая. Но слава богу, что есть такая.
Hi guys, it's Seth. Welcome back to Warthog Defense. We are going to see another Russian military failure. Tension grow in Russia's Far East and a Mi-8 military helicopter has gone missing with 5 people on board. This incident adds to a growing list of aviation failures and problems for the Russian military. A Russian Mi-8 helicopter carrying 5 people went missing on July 14th during a flight from Okhotsk to Magadan in Russia's Far East, Russian pro-government media outlet Kommersant reported, citing the country's aviation agency Rosaviatsia. The aircraft had 3 crew members and 2 technicians on board. According to the Russian state news agency TASS, the crew failed to establish contact at the scheduled time. A search operation is underway. Another Mi-8 helicopter was deployed from Okhotsk, and an An-26 aircraft was dispatched from Magadan to aid in the search, officials said. The Mi-8 is a Soviet-designed utility helicopter SEMAP widely used by Russia's military and civilian authorities for transport, combat support and command missions. The aircraft has a long service history but has been involved in several crashes, including during Russia's ongoing full-scale war against Ukraine. On May 23rd, a Russian Mi-8 helicopter crashed near the village of Narishkino in Oryol Oblast, killing the crew, TASS reported. Western sanctions have severely impacted Russia's aviation sector, leaving many aircraft without essential parts for routine maintenance. This is the water we drink. It's murky and bitter, but thank God we at least have that. Russian soldier shows water from a pond they have to drink and recounts how, while attempting to roll back from their position, his comrade exploded in front of his eyes.
Вот такую воду пьем с какого-то водоема. Мутная, горькая. Но слава богу, что есть такая. Пытались сегодня откатиться. 2 ушли, 1 вроде нормально прошел. А 2, возможно, 200, потому что взорвался на моих глазах на середине поля. Дай бог выберемся.
Russian Foreign Intelligence Service is reporting that allegedly NATO is actively preparing to involve Moldova in a potential armed conflict with Russia. But in reality, Russia is escalating tensions and continues to blame Europe for wanting to fight with Russia. The reality is obviously the opposite. Russia is a threat to European security. Russia will easily use these kinds of reports to justify aggression against Moldova or another country. They did the same in Ukraine. Here is the statement of the Russian Foreign Intelligence. It shows current Russian narratives regarding NATO and Europe very clearly. Russian propaganda is drilling the same messages into the heads of Russian people. A decision has been made in Brussels to accelerate the transformation of this country into a forward operating base of the alliance on its eastern flank in response to the advance of Russian armed forces in Ukraine. The NATO bloc, having taken the bit between its teeth, is aggressively turning what was once a peaceful agricultural republic into a military training ground. Moldova's territory is being prepared for the rapid deployment of NATO troops towards Russia's borders. To this end, projects are being implemented to switch to the European railway track and to increase the load-bearing capacity of bridges. Logistics hubs, large warehouses and assembly areas for military equipment are being built. The airfields in Markulesht and Balts, located near the Ukrainian theater of operations, are being modernized to accommodate large numbers of combat and military transport aircraft. However, in the event of a direct NATO-Russia conflict, it is the Moldovans themselves who, according to Brussels' plan, will bear the brunt of the blow. They are to serve as cannon fodder in combat with Russian forces. For this purpose, NATO leadership is pushing Chisinau to adopt Western warfare doctrines. The Moldovan army is being flooded with military instructors from alliance member states, and specialized training centers are being established. The comprador regime of Maia Sandu is willing to meet all Western demands, so long as it is allowed to stay at the trough. Chisinau is heavily counting on material and organizational support from NATO countries for the pro-presidential Party of Action and Solidarity in the upcoming parliamentary elections on September 28th. If they win, Sandu has promised NATO leaders to push for the removal of Moldova's constitutionally enshrined neutral status. It appears that the implementation of such a scenario will mark the beginning of the end for Moldova. President Sandu has long and rightly been accused of methodically feeding her country to Romania, of which she is a citizen. But now it is becoming clear that Sandu and her circle intend to go much further, to hand Moldova over to NATO, so it can be smashed against Russia. Apparently, the bloodthirsty glory of Zelensky is haunting this fan of gay parades and European integration, the press bureau of the Foreign Intelligence Service of the Russian Federation said. President Trump said Patriot batteries and missiles will arrive in Ukraine very soon, within days.
Will these be Patriot missiles specifically, or Patriot batteries that you're planning? And when do you
everything? It's Patriots. It's all of them. It's a full complement with the batteries.
And when do you expect them to arrive in Ukraine, sir?
Well, we're going to have some come very soon, within days, actually. Because a couple of the countries that have Patriots are going to swap over and will replace the Patriots with the ones they have. We have one country that has 17 Patriots getting ready to be shipped. They're not going to need them for them. So we're going to work a deal where the 17 will go, or a big portion of the 17 will go to the Warsaw.
Mr. President.
That can be done very quickly.
Putin pointed out that there is a shortage of women in Russia. It looks like he's solving the problem by drastically decreasing the number of men in Russia through sending them to war.
We regularly discuss the demographic issue with you. I clearly remember a probably well-known song from Soviet times when girls came to a dance and some stood on the side, because for every 9 girls, statistically there are 9 guys. I understand that our statistics have changed. Now we have a shortage of women.
By the way, in 2024, slightly more boys were born. I believe 51.5% of the births were boys in 2024, but it used to be the other way around. So, in general, Vladimir Vladimirovich, yes, unfortunately, this is our serious problem, which is related to 2 demographic waves. One demographic wave from the period of the Great Patriotic War, and the second from the 90s, which essentially overlapped and sharply reduced the number of women of reproductive age.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.